What is up with a YouTube? It's Coffee, back talking some NFL, and it's so wild, man. In my other video and pertaining to hip-hop news, I was just talking about some legacy artists, right? Sons of the notorious B.I.G., Jadakiss of the Locks, hip-hop greats, you know what I mean? Can their sons match what they did in the rap game, you know? And here we have an all-time NFL great, one of the greatest receivers to ever touch the ball in the NFL. And it's so wild too. I remember my Buffalo Bills actually broke his streak. Y'all know we're talking about Jerry Rice. He had a reception in every game until that 2004 season when he was with the Raiders against the Bills. The streak stopped. But his son Brenden out of USC has declared for the NFL draft. And you see a lot of fans talking about, oh, he could go to the Giants in the fourth, or, you know, just trying to run the draft board mentally, and could he land with their team? And he has some pretty solid numbers. 111 receptions for 1,821 yards and 21 touchdowns in his career with USC. So comment, let me know if you've been watching him, if you think he's on the level that his father is or was. I'm sorry, and you know, will he make that splash? I mean, those are big shoes to fill, to try to match what his dad did in the NFL. But to be honest with y'all, I haven't really followed him as much in college ball. I was obviously aware he was playing and all that. And side note too, different sport, but remember the Admiral NBA player? What happened with his son? Wasn't his son going to Notre Dame? I remember him making some big catches in some big games that one year. They had a pretty nice run. I think they upset the number one team, or so. I can't recall, man. Notre Dame has kind of got back in the mix over the past however many years. They've had some solid football teams, but I don't know. I guess, did he never make it to the NFL, his son? But back to Jerry Rice's son, if you have been watching him, where would you gauge his talent as far as round in the draft projected, in your opinion? I mean, as pointed out numerous times, it's so hard when it comes to what someone does in college and how their NFL career, what it will look like. It's tough. Obviously, we know the scouts and personnel on teams that work just to do nothing but watch this and try to come up with that draft board, get stuff wrong all the time.
Has he been accountable all these years in your eyes?
100%. And I think that once you make it to this level, I told you guys what I think I spoke to somebody yesterday. We're all grown ass men in here. You know, especially for myself, I know personally when I have a bad play, when I have a good play, I don't need a coach to tell me, you know, what I did good, what I did bad. You know, I know it. That's me holding myself accountable, and I think everybody throughout the last how many years of being here, that's kind of the mentality we've had. And so, yes, I do think that that Sean holds people accountable, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes he does to me, and I'm pissed off about it because I already know. And I've been around here, been in the same playbook for a while. I know what I need to do. Yeah, I think for former players that come out, former coaches, whoever, 25, whatever you said, people to come out and speak on that. You know, maybe there's a little bad blood from maybe not being here anymore, or maybe they just felt that way. I can't speak on their own personal interactions, but to me, I think it's a low blow to question you know, Sean's character, and you know, I don't think that there's any good coming out of that. You know, I think a lot of us would not to, you know, knock on you guys, but the media is reporting the story. But I think in the locker room and stuff, we're all here to lift each other up. So for guys to do that, it's kind of messed up in my eyes. So you know me, I'm pro Sean Mcdermott. I trust in everything that he's done around here and what he's going to continue to do, and I'm gonna back him any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
All right, so that was Buffalo Bills safety Micah Hyde, one half of the dynamic duo with Jordan Poyer. So great to see them back out there this year, but not to sound negative or anything. They haven't, they're aging. I'm not trying to ish on their game or anything like that. You know, I just was so excited to see them back together one more season in Buffalo. The way these guys played was almost like they had telekinesis, always communicating with each other and being on the same page and being in the right place to make plays and everything like that. And last year, Poyer missed a few games with injury, but Hyde was gone early in the season, ended up on IR, and I remember he was supposed to come back and play in the playoffs. He practiced, but he didn't play, and then it looked like that was it. The dynamic duo would be no more, but we got to see him back in action for this Buffalo Bills squad this year. And, I mean, they've still been good, but you can just kind of tell they've lost a step or two. Again, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just, y'all know what I'm saying, I think. Let me know if you know what I'm saying, if you agree or not. But getting to what Micah Hyde is talking about, that report that came out about Sean McDermott, the very, very bad example that he used when speaking about communication back in 2019. And it just felt so odd to me, because I'm like, man, how did this, like, what source came to the media for this article to come out? And is someone trying to force Sean McDermott out in Buffalo? As you know, with where the Bills are at and what a run this team's been on, a lot of individuals are saying it's McDermott. He's the guy that is the problem in Buffalo. That's why the Bills can't get over in these big games. And you know, when it comes to them big moments, McDermott gets too conservative and stuff like that. I'm sure everyone has heard the narratives, and apparently there's other reports that are coming out kind of bashing McDermott, and then somewhere in these reports his accountability has been brought into question, and Micah Hyde is saying, nah man, McDermott's my guy. He's not trying to hear it at all in any way. You know, just basically has McDermott's back to the fullest, respects his coach. And I don't know, I want to know where everyone stands on this. Like, let me know what you think about what Mike is saying, but let me know what you think about these McDermott narratives and what you thought about those bizarre comments that he made that came back and resurfaced all the way from 2019. That was just so odd to me. I wonder who it is going to the media. And that's what was wild too. Did you guys hear Hyde say something? Am I bugging? Did he say something about 20 people or something like that? Like, did McDermott make a lot of enemies? Or a lot of people running to the media on him and have some things to say about him? I don't know. It's just a wild situation. It really seems to me like there's some drama going on behind the scenes at One Bills Drive that we're not really privy to, but I just feel like you can feel it through everything going on when you read between the lines. And, you know, unrelated, but when the Bills played the Giants earlier this year and we saw, you know, Brian DeBall, our former offensive coordinator, the way him and Josh Allen was all loves, and you know, they dabbed and hugged it up and left the facilities together. And then the way it was between him and McDermott, how it was like so cold, and they just, I don't know, it was like these dudes had beef. And it's like, does McDermott not get along with other coaches? And you know, we saw Leslie Frazier walk away and take time off. I was a bit befuddled by that, but I don't know, like, someone told me too, Frazier said something a little while back, elaborated more on this, which I missed. But if anyone, you know, who does hear this did catch what Frazier said, please comment about it below, as well as everything else we're talking about. But I really wonder what's going to be the future for McDermott and if he'll still be here. I feel like he will. They just hit him with the extension. One more thing too, Micah Hyde, did you hear him? He's like, I'm not trying to knock you guys, but the media, this is how you guys get. If you guys recall, he was Micah Hyde, and Poyer was up there with him too, I think. I just know Hyde was the one really sounding off, calling out the media a couple years ago after that windstorm game where we lost to the Patriots, and then went back and got our get back later in the season and whooped on them, and then absolutely annihilated them in the playoffs, like never even punting the ball, going for it every game. It was just a brutal beatdown, and we got our get back, just like we got our get back last year and our divisional losses against Miami and the Jets, and then beat Miami in the playoffs as well. Like, this team, I really still feel like and still believe we got it in us to run the table, as I've been saying. What a big game tomorrow. But something that's been going on around the Twitter sphere in discussions pertaining to what we're talking about here. A member of Bills Mafia was talking about this with these articles, taking shots at McDermott and everything. Someone posted this and was saying, hey, check this out. And I believe this is the same journalist who came forth with an old article about Aaron Rodgers, where Rodgers was pissed and he was saying, like, this individual has a habit of doing this.
You know, the thing is about this article, it's you know, it's not a mystery. This was a smear attack by, you know, a writer looking to advance his career, talking with mostly irrelevant, bitter players who all have an agenda, whether they're advancing their own careers or just trying to stir old stuff up. The crazy thing is there's super slanted opinions in that piece stated as fact. And then there's quote-unquote facts, which are just outright lies. If I really dislike Mike that much, why would I re-sign? This idea that I had this like grudge against him for years is absolutely ridiculous. It's just not true. I mean, where was that grudge in 10 when we won the Super Bowl? Where was that grudge when we won 19 games in a row? Because I will tell you this about Mike, and if you look at the comments I've made about him over the years, I love Mike McCarthy. Mike has been a huge part of my success in my career, and I've had some amazing moments on and off the field with Mike. We have had issues, no doubt about it. Any long relationship has issues. But the way that we dealt with those issues, Mike and I, was face to face.
So y'all heard what Aaron Rodgers was saying there, that it was in his opinion, a BS piece where facts and narratives were being flip-flopped around and positioned in ways to just more or less try to make a hit piece, and calling it basically shoddy journalism, and that him and McCarthy had no issues, you know, that there were things within their relationship where they might have butted heads a little bit, but they worked it out, and you know, he would have never re-signed there. And let me know what you thought about that situation. Again, that was back in 2019 with Aaron Rodgers, but see, fans are debating about this, saying, well, no, actually that story turned out to be accurate, and I don't know, you know. So let's talk about it all. But then one more thing we got to get to before we close this video out. I don't know if you guys saw this being discussed. Josh Allen, you know, the main piece to this Buffalo Bills squad, the quarterback, the signal caller, the guy that, you know, people love to hate, that no one wanted to believe in to begin with, and it showed everyone that he is an elite level talent. And I don't know, he's just getting back in his groove with this Buffalo Bills offense. Still been putting up numbers, even though he's had some struggles this year. I like the way Greeny reports on Josh Allen here. The way he puts it in perspective is quite interesting. So stay tuned. This is going to close the video out. Let's talk about it all. Subscribe to the channel. Look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. And here's that clip for y'all.
Here's the deal. I know that you know that Josh Allen has turned it over in 8 straight games, and that he has the most turnovers in the NFL over the last 4 years. I know you know that because you hear it all the time. It generally comes right after someone on television says, well, Josh Allen is a great player, but let's try something different here. Let's talk about just how great he actually is. Allen has 17 more touchdowns than he does turnovers this year. So for all the talk about those, do you know how many players have a better margin than that? 1, Dak Prescott. In fact, Allen has 94 more touchdowns than turnovers the last 4 seasons. Only Patrick Mahomes has a better margin in the entire league. Over those 4 seasons, while everyone has been busy talking about Allen's turnovers, do you know how many teams have scored more points than the Bills have? None. And only the Chiefs have had a better record. Over those 4 seasons, Allen himself, personally, has 163 touchdowns, and his team has punted 174 times. He is a one-man offensive machine. And with 7 more scores this year, which knowing him, he'll get in like 2 weeks, he will become the first quarterback ever with 4 consecutive 40-touchdown seasons. Peyton, Patrick, Brady, Breeze, Brett, none of them did that. Allen is about to. So now let's consider where the Bills are right this minute. If their kicker makes 1 lousy field goal in Philadelphia, and if they don't have 12 men on special teams against Denver, they would be 8-4, and Josh Allen would be the leading candidate for MVP. So in conclusion, let me say this. The year that Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, I never once heard anyone mention that he also struck out 175 times. Why? Because he was so good, it more than made up for the imperfection. Josh Allen is that good too. And there is no need to put a but at the end of that sentence.